How old are you?
I'm 63 years old.
So, what does it feel like being 63 years old?
It feels pretty good since most of my friends are not around, so it makes me feel pretty good right now.
What's one big mistake you've made in your life that taught you a very valuable lesson?
Uh, I didn't obey my parents. I graduated high school at 14 years old, and I had a choice to go to college or go to the streets, and I chose to go to the streets, and that was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life.
Wow, so what was the street life like? Like, you know, how did that end up? Did that end up good? Like what happened during that time?
It ended up, well, I can say good because I'm still alive, but a lot of tragic mistakes were made. Uh, People's lives were destroyed. Uh, Criminal records were created that never should have been created. And a lot of people got hurt. So I would not suggest it for anybody at all, period.
So for someone who's around the age of like 15, 16, 17, even 20, looking into going into that kind of life, that, you know, gang life or whatever you would say, terrible idea.
Very terrible idea. It may seem glamorous at the moment, but when it all ends up, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it very seriously if you make it out.
Okay. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your younger self?
I would say go to college, get an education. Even though a lot of people with education don't have good jobs, it's best to have an education than not to have an education. That gives you a leg up. It gives you a better opportunity to get where you're trying to go in life.
Okay. So in this day and age, in this generation, there's a lot of kids, a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, college, there's no need to go to college. You could learn everything yourself. You could learn everything online." That's not a good idea.
Well, I'm not saying it's a good idea. It depends on the person. Maybe today younger people are more savvy. They can get online. They may want to go to college in another state. It's not affordable for them, so they can get online and take the classes online. If they can do that, that's fine. But an education, whatever you decide to get into, you're going to need to know the rules and regulations. It's like when you play the game, you got to know the rules. So if you want to be let's say an engineer, you got to know stuff about engineering. You can't just go to a book and read that. There's going to be some stuff in class that's not going to be in the books, and there's going to be some stuff in the books that's not going to be in class. So you need to get both of them to be above and ready to go ahead and play the game.
And I always said that. I said, well, if you have a doctor and your doctor told you he learned everything by himself, he didn't go to college, would that make you feel good?
Not at all. I'd be skeptical talking about nurse. Where's the next doctor?
What's something that you've learned during your life that you wish more people knew?
To be kind to other people. When people think they're above someone else, it creates a situation of anger. It creates a situation of wanting to get back, revenge, that type of thing, and that's not good. If you don't work together, it's like a house. If it's not working together, the house will fall. If a marriage is not together, the husband and wife are not on the same page, that marriage is going to collapse. So I would say we should, as a people, we need to learn how to communicate more, why we do things, understand why we do things, and learn why certain things are the way they are, and look at it from a different angle, a different aspect, and try to make things better, one person at a time.
So, are you married?
No, I'm not married right now, but I'm sure looking for a good wife.
Have you been married in the past?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Yes, I've been married 4 times. But my problem was I didn't put God in the equation. I went for the sex, the good looks, money, to whatever I could get for myself. But this time I'm telling God to choose for me so it could last for the rest of my life.
4 times. So, is there something that, you know, like some takeaways from your past 4 marriages that could be valuable to the younger generation in picking a spouse and picking a wife? What would you tell them to look for in a woman when seeking a wife or spouse or a partner for life?
Well, first of all, the mistake that most men make and women is they look on the outward appearance, how fine they are, how beautiful they are, what kind of sex they could have, with this woman they can imagine. But that's all going to come. That's all there. That's not going anywhere. You need to look at the quality of a woman. What is she bringing to the table? Is she smart? Is she selfish? Does she love God more than she loves you? Do you love God more than you love her? What can you teach her? What can you bring to the table? So it's more like a contract situation where you got to sit down and say, hey, look, this is what the plan is. Are you with this plan or are you not with this plan? Can you get with this or not? If not, then we need to move on. Otherwise, you will go into a situation that's going to cause you hell and pain for the rest of your life. There's no need to get up unhappy every morning. That's a choice that we make ourselves. There's no need to get up unhappy. So choose your spouse that's going to make you happy. When you wake up in the morning, you say, man, I'm glad I married her. Woo, she sure is beautiful. Ooh, her toes look really good. I want to really, that type of thing.
Oh, I understand. Okay. Okay. So you would say, in terms of marriage, the looks is not really all that important.
Well, men are very visual, and it's always good to be able to wake up in the morning and find a wife who you can say, oh, I just love this woman. But sometimes that's the biggest mistake you can make. So that's important, but you're going to start from the inside and work your way out and not from the outside and work your way in. They have beautiful, 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 ugly. Beautiful, beautiful is beautiful on the inside, beautiful on the outside. Beautiful, ugly is beautiful on the outside, ugly on the inside. You get a beautiful, ugly, you're in trouble. Because the beauty is going to fade after a while. You get old, your face is going to drag, your skin is going to get old, and there can be nothing that sustain that relationship but true love, true care for one another.
Okay, so it sounds like you're a believer because you said get a woman that loves God. Now, are you a Christian?
Yes, I am. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist Christian.
How long have you been a Christian for?
Well, actually, I was raised a Seventh-day Adventist. I was born into a Seventh-day Adventist Christian home. I left for about 40 years, went to the streets. And then one day I said, it's time to come home because there wasn't nothing out there in the street. I done did it all. And when I say, I'm talking about things I can't even mention on this mic. I've done it all. And there's no satisfaction in it. So I'm looking at what makes me happy. So I had to go back and say, well, what do I need to change? And that's what I did. And I started with, who was my creator? God is my creator. What does he want me to do? So I got the Bible and read. Even though I was raised in Seventh-day Adventist, I didn't take that as being gospel. I had to check it out for myself. So I checked out all religions, Baptists, Catholics, Lutherans, all different kind of churches, and find out what they believe. And once I found out what they believed, some of them were in the Bible, some of them weren't. So that's how the Seventh-day Adventist Church came together. Because they went to a lot of different denominations and see what they could pull from them that was in the Bible. And that's how the Seventh-day Adventist Church came to be about, because they went to find the truth out of each church that they can go to the Bible and find out. And that's how the Seventh-day Adventist Church came about, religion.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you said you grew up Seventh-day Adventist, right? But then when you got to 14 years old, you got into the gang life. How was that? Like, what led you away or led you into the gang life? Like, did you have bad friends, or was it just from school you met these guys? Like, how did that transition from a Christian home into the gang life?
Well, actually, I never was in a gang. I would consider myself a ganger to myself.
Okay.
But from 10 years old, I started getting into trouble, little things, stuff at school. Kids wanted to beat me up because I was the youngest. Gangs tried to attack me. So one day I went to my neighbor, and he was probably the biggest thug in where I used to live at that time. And he liked me for some reason. So I told him I had a problem. So he gave me a 38 snub nose. And I went in and stole my father's 12-gauge shotgun and sawed the barrel off and went to school right after Christmas. And from that point on, I was a straight up thug, a gangster. Nobody wanted to mess with me, and I was the youngest of everybody. So I guess I could say I was kind of forced into it, but at the same time, I enjoyed the thug life. The girls, the jewels, the money, the whatever. I enjoyed that. I liked it back then. So my parents were really strict, so I got a chance to get out and do my thing. So once I left, I said, this is how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
And that's how that came about.
So you said you had the girls when you were a thug back then, and did you have a girlfriend? Did you end up getting married? Did you meet a girl while you were thugging? what was that experience with the girls?
My first girlfriend, she was about my age, I guess. Her name was, I don't know if I want to say her name on here, but you know, okay. And I really enjoyed her. And then my next girlfriend, I was in ninth grade, she was in 12th grade. And from that point on, I never had a girlfriend that was younger than me. I've always had older girlfriends, 4 or 5 years older. And when I graduated high school, that's when I got back in touch with my fourth grade friend's mother. She was the first black and Spanish woman that I met that I just went Google eyes. When she kissed me on the cheek and told me I was cute, and I was never the same after that. I said, I want me a woman like that. And a couple years later, I had her.
So you said, she was black and Spanish. You were 14 years old at the time.
When we met the last time and hooked up. When I first met, I was in the fourth grade. And she kissed me on the cheek and said, "Oh, you must be Victor. You're cute." I said, "Oh my goodness." I just didn't know what to say.
Oh, okay. When you first met her, it was in the fourth grade, and then you saw her again. You guys met up again when you were 14 years old.
Right. I had got kicked out of LA school system, and I went back east to go to school. And I came back, and I was staying with her grandmother. And her son was living with her grandmother, so we decided to come over to their house the next day. And there she was sitting at the table smoking Marlboro cigarettes. And my eyes just lit up like big silver dollar bills. I said, there she is. And I would say about maybe 2 weeks later, man, we were into a very serious sexual encounter, And I stayed there for about, 2 months, and her husband actually found out, because I try to keep it a secret, but that kind of stuff you can't keep a secret. So he finally confronted me and, told me I had to leave, so I left. And
she had a husband?
Yeah, she was married. She had 6 kids, and her older son was my classmate, which he was a year older than I was. But I left my mother, raised from other living quarters, but one day I just couldn't take it no more. He came home, he had beat her. And I said, he's got to go. So he would work for the city. He would go to work for 2 or 3 days at a time. So I moved in and let the whole family know, there's a new sheriff in town. I'm taking over. If you don't want to go, you got to go, because there's going to be some gunplay. So those who wasn't with it left, and those who was kind of just hid in the back of the house. And I'm not going to get into the whole story, but he came to the door, and I had my .357 Magnum. I said, he had a hammer. I said, you got one swing. If you miss, I'm going to kill you. I had it planned out. If I had to struggle with him, because he was 32 years old, I was going to shoot him in the face so his mother couldn't have an open casket. But if I didn't have to struggle with him, I was going to shoot him in the chest, and then his mother could have an open casket. I had it all planned out, man. So.
And so at this time, she had 6 kids. You had just graduated high school. How old were you?
I was 14 years old when I graduated high school.
So you were 14, and how old was she?
She was 28 years old.
So you were 14 and she was 28 years old. And her family didn't tell her, hey, like, this is not okay. Because I feel like in this day and age, how long ago was this?
This was back in 1970s, back in the 70s.
Okay, so I feel like in this day and age, if something like that were to happen, she would be going to jail, because you were a minor, you were 14 years old. And in this day and age, people would say, well, she molested you, because she's close to 30 years old messing with a guy that's 14 years old.
This is absolutely true. And I didn't realize until my last wife, we talked about it one evening. She told me, she said, you have been molested. That woman was old enough to be your mother and then some. So I always thought of it as I had it going on. I do what I want to do. I'm calling shots. But when I think about it, it wasn't actually like that. I wasn't really calling nothing. I was being manipulated. Because of my mentality and my social skills, I could make things happen. People were scared of me. That was the bottom line. I was smooth, but they didn't want to cross. Everybody would know. We're not telling the police, oh no, he'll come back and he'll take care of business with us. But yeah, it was total molestation, man. For 17 years, we were together for 17 years, and we had a daughter together. So I was like 30-some years old 31, 30, somewhere up in there. When we finally broke up, got a divorce. But yeah, it was a lot of years, man. A lot of criminal years. That's where I got all my criminal experience, all my criminal records. You know,
Did she know you were a criminal?
she was a criminal mastermind. She could have been. She could have been Luciano's partner. I mean, we sat down, we wrote it down, how to get in, how to get out. If some people had to get, handled or whatever, she was there. She even drove the car for me one night. So yeah, she was a criminal mastermind.
And she was your teacher in school at some point.
No, just in street school, not in regular elementary school. When I came there, it was school going on, and my first lesson was we got to kill my husband. So that was the first thing that how I really got started in the major leagues.
So, this relationship, quote unquote, started when you were 14 years old. She was 28, and it went on for 17 years extra, and you guys ended up having a kid.
Right.
How old were you when you had that kid?
I think I was about 21. We got married when I was 18, and about 21 we had a daughter.
Are you in touch with that daughter?
We talk maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. She's the closest that I am with my 4 children. But for a long time, we didn't talk because her mom told her things about me that weren't true. So I kind of left it alone till she turned 18, and then we got together and we kind of buried the hatchet on a lot of different things.
Is there something you would like to say to that daughter right now on camera that maybe you've never said to her?
She knows I love her. I pretty much told her everything. And she was the first one to actually see the book that I wrote, about my life. She asked me for 2 or 3 years, Daddy, when can I see the book? Daddy, when can I see the book? So she was the first one, and she gave me a couple pointers on it, and then I published the book. But she's the only one. The rest of my children I have no contact with. Reason being that I don't know where they are. They, my second wife, with the rest of them, it was more of a highly sexual relationship for another 17 years with a lot of menage a trois going on. And when I wanted to get right, it was too late, and I lost it all.
So, you said you wrote a book. What's the name of your book?
The name of the book is God's Gangster Child. It's a 2-part autobiography series that you can purchase on Amazon.com.
So everyone can find it on Amazon.com?
Correct.
What's your name?
My name is Victor Gresham.
Victor Gresham. So if you want his book, check it out on Amazon.com. The name is God's Gangster Child. Okay, let's keep going. So after you were done with your first wife, which you met at 14, what was the rest of your life like in terms of just with women?
Well, I never really was a player. When I say I ever was a player, I never had 2 women over here, 3 women over here, 5 women over there, because my brother died of AIDS and he was a player. So I was scared to death, and we on the laundromat, and wasn't nothing but women coming in there all day. So I had to be very choosy. I hate to admit some of the women were married, but they wanted what they wanted, and I wasn't gonna say no. I was still young. But that's where I met my second wife. And it was after her, we stayed together for a while. We got married. After my father died, then we got married. And I don't know, about 5 or 6 years later, we started doing menage a trois. And it was kind of a joke at first, What you think about that? What you think about that? Was she pretty? I said, yeah. What you think, So she told me a story how she had these little feelings about women when she was a little kid. So the first one she brought home was one of her friends, and man, she was drop dead gorgeous. And I could not say no, and it was my birthday. So I got a little hotel room with jacuzzi and some weed, some alcohol. I was an orchestrator,
She got you a birthday present.
Yeah.
That's a birthday present right there.
Absolutely.
A lot of kids these days will say, you were lucky.
Well, you know what? That was my first thought initially. I'm lucky. How many guys? Because my friend kept saying, Vic, give me details. What happened? Details. He's the only friend I had back then. And I told him, went on, even when we moved out here to Texas, it went on a couple more times. And then I said, this is not what God wants me to do. and she had three of my children, three to four of my children. So I tried to bring it back together and say, no more women. Let's just work it out. But it was too late. It was too late. I think the last chick that she brought, she liked me more than she should, and I think my wife liked her more than she should. So
Oh,
I think that kind of went on its own separate path after we broke up.
so you think the whole bringing another um, girl into your relationship can sometimes get complicated?
Extremely complicated, especially if you love that person, because when you love that person, those feelings after a while are going to come to the surface.
Mm.
And all these other women that we had, the other 10, 12 women that you brought, her friends, they become nothing but sex objects, you know.
Okay.
So, in my advice, if you ask me, it may sound good, it may look good on porn and all that kind of stuff, but if you love that woman, don't do it. I'm telling you from firsthand experience, do not do it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm sure. I mean, you s- you know you had a woman groom you when you were 14. Tell you what she like, so and so. So you were already a pro by the time you were 20 years old.
By the time I was 20, if I had a woman that was 20 years old, I'd probably beat her with a stick because she would want to come back more for more. I mean, I was a pro, man. I was just like in class. This is what I want you to do. Go down right here and do this. Put your head right here. Put your lips right there. Turn me over. I mean, it was a whole detail, like a manual she had in her head,
Wow.
So anything that she wanted, I did. This is a woman, I was 14 years old. I met in the fourth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, every other woman that I'm going to get is going to be like this woman. And now I had her. I wasn't passing that chance up. I thought I was really had it going on. But she just straight used me, man. She groomed me. She told me what to do. It's almost like volunteer sex slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever she said to do, I was happy to do.
I mean, at 14 years old, she's telling you do this to me, do that to me. A woman that's 28 years old. I mean, most people would say she deserved to be in jail.
Well, she dead now, so
Oh.
I don't know what to say. But back then, I was a willing participant. Even though my mind didn't realize I was getting molested, but I was a willing participant. I could, just like she would tell me, I don't want you to leave the house until you do me 3 times. I could tell her the same thing. Let's go upstairs. I'm ready to get some right now. And it was both ways. I mean, on demand.
So you were with it too.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know.
Okay, okay. You got a great story, man. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Well, I would like to say first I want to thank God for letting me make it through, because everybody on that block that I live with is dead.
Okay.
Maybe 2 of them might be in prison for life, but everybody else is dead. Drug overdose, criminal activity. Uh, you know, police came in, killed them on the spot. Other gang members came in, shot up. I had my house shot up 3 or 4 times.
Wow, like a drive-by?
Yeah, man. I mean, my house was almost like a drug house on the block, where I had my crew. I had maybe 3 or 4 guys that I work with. I wouldn't get no gang. You want to come work with me, these are my rules. But I didn't need them, because I was a mob all by myself as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
And when I walk the streets, they part like the Red Sea. And I'm just a young cat, you know what I'm saying?
How
But
old were you?
I was 14 when this all started. So by the time I was 16, man, I was full blown. Full blown. I was a kid in an adult criminal world, period. Bottom line. And I learned everything I could as quickly as because I had determined that that was going to be my lifestyle. So I had to learn everything as quick as I can, and as best as I could, better than everybody else. So when I said step, everybody know to move. So it was quite an exciting time. But the one time when I did get arrested, I wasn't working with my normal crew. And long story short, we got charged with 2 counts of attempted murder of a police officer, grand theft auto, and second degree armed burglary. So we were looking at double life without the possibility of parole. And Lord let me get away with that. I mean, it was so much police, because we were in a white area and they had to convict us. But I happened to get 3 white public defenders who said, this ain't right, we're going to make this a landmark case, and that's just what happened. So I ended up with 8 years probation, I believe it was. Did like 9 months in jail. Never went to prison. But because the police had done so much wrong thing, the other guys, they didn't do that much time. One guy did 3 years, the other guy did 5 years, the other guy did 7. But those are all repeat offenders. I had never had a criminal record. My wife had took care of me, man, to make sure I would never get caught.
So that was the lady that taught you everything from when you were 14 years old. She thought she was the criminal mastermind. She was
Mhm.
good.
Exactly. And the thing that messed up, I went to a strip club that night and got drunk. That's another reason we messed up. So by the time I got home, I was filthy drunk, man. An hour later, I got the phone call, and I was on my way out to Ventura, California to rob a jewelry store. But I didn't consult her. I just, she was in bed. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I heard the numbers that were given to me. I said, let's go. So I provided all the hardware, and we left.
So you didn't do it with a clear head. There was no plan, and that's how y'all got caught.
I didn't plan it. She didn't plan it. Somebody else planned it. And I had worked with the other guy once before, and it was successful, but I should have never gone that night. And after we robbed the jewelry store, I was in the back of the van trying to see what we had. My head was still wobbling because I was still drunk, So I wasn't supposed to be there.
Wow. Okay. Would you say like you fell into the gang life because you didn't have maybe an active mother, an active father? Your parents were not in your life. You were just kind of doing life by yourself.
Well, my mother and father, they had even though they loved each other to the end, my mother was not very happy with my father. My father was not very happy with my mother. So my father had, male desires. So he, stepped out a few times, and she found out about it. And from that point on, she would always pit me against him, to the point that one night I almost killed my father. She took me over to his girlfriend's house, was in my ear the whole time. So I had a little green knife about that big. And he was helping her load some stuff up, sweating. I walked up to him. I was going to stab him in the back, just kill him. Just say, man, why you doing this to my mama? But she was in my ear all the time. But one of his friends, I won't call his name, but he happened to be there. Well, I don't know he was there, but he was an old guy. He had bread. So he walked up and grabbed my hand, took the knife, and told me to go get in his car. And, him and my mother and all, they had their little talk. But he took me home. He let me ride home with her, and told me, when you get older, you understand about sex. Men are going to do things. And if women don't want to come through, they're going to go elsewhere. And, he told me what my mom had not done with my father. And he just, hey, my father had a little paper at one time, and she just brought him down. So that after they divorced, they still were together every day, but they divorced. And I think that's where the whole thing started, where she pitted me against him every day she could.
So she got you to hate your father
Yes,
to the point that you almost killed your own father because your mother was trying to pit you against your father.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. You really got an interesting story, and I think a lot of people can learn from this. You've been in 4 different marriages. You had a troubled childhood growing up. I mean, what's just one message you want to leave for the world? If you have in mind your 14-year-old self, your 15-year-old self that got with a woman that was 28, what would you say to your younger self today?
I would probably say to my younger self, what's the right thing to do it. Don't do what you want to do what you're supposed to do. Because I knew I was doing wrong. You taking another man's woman, another man's wife, excuse me, and they got 2 kids together, that's wrong. I mean, that's just, you just know that's wrong.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. I was looking out for me, what I wanted, and it got me into a situation where I thank the Lord every day I made it out, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, do what you know is right, even though if you don't even want to do it, you need to do it anyway, because it will pay off in the long run. If you don't do what you know is right, you're going to pay for it in the long run.
Okay. Wow. And so what's life like for you today?
Life today, what I'm trying to do a humanitarian project. I'm raising money for that right now. And my whole desire is now to help those who are on the streets who just don't have any other option. They just out there, they can't work, their mind is not right. You got different shelters out here for men and women and things like that, but those people at least can have the mindset to go to the shelter. I want to take it on another level for those who don't even have the mind to get on the shelter. I want to have a special place for them, either out of the country or in the city, wherever the case may be. Hire me some, professionals and go out there and deal with the psyche of the mind of why they're like this. Have jobs they can do. I want to do a whole nationwide, worldwide humanitarian housing program. That's the name of my project. But right now, I'm just working on the financing. I have a couple companies I'm dealing with right now. So once that gets done, I know exactly what to do with the money to make it grow really quickly. And that's what I'm trying to do with my life at this point.
So you're doing a lot of great things now. Amazing work. Coming from where you came from, how much work did it take for you to turn your life around?
It was not easy, but the first thing I did was I made the decision to do it. And after that, that's when the hard part came. I had to stick with it. I prayed a lot. Lord, I can't do it by myself. I need some help. You need to send me your Holy Spirit because I'm going to be right back out there. I'm going to be dead like all the rest of my friends. But it's amazing, everybody in the house that I lived in, all her kids, they're the only ones that's alive. Everybody else around us is dead, man. I think only 2 of them are in prison right now, doing life in prison for bank robbery or something like that. Killed a guard or something, I don't know. But only those that were, it's like God had his hand of protection around my house, and that was it. Everybody else is gone.
So her kids are still alive and stuff.
Her kids are still alive, each and every one of them. All 7 of them, including my daughter.
Wow, amazing. That's amazing story.
Well, it's a true story, and I'm just grateful to be alive. That's the best I can say for you right now. I'm just grateful to be alive that God kept his hand up on me and showed me a different path.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir, anytime.